We talked in terms of using table of contents, indexes, captions, and other tools that will help us move around our document. The table of contents was wonderful for finding out a topic that is on a specific page. In this movie, I'd like to talk a little bit more about navigation and some of the tools that are built inside of Word to help us move around easier. These tools are particularly useful when you have a very long document. Let's begin by talking about the zoom control. The zoom control is in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. This allows me to look at a document very small, which allows me to see all the pages, to very large, which really allows me to focus in on the detail contained within a graphic or an image. I simply move back and forth to be able to adjust the screen. Next to the zoom control, you will see some choices for layout. The most common layout we use is the print layout. Next to the print layout is the full screen reading. Now this is the only layout in which we will not be able to get back to the layout or the zoom control. For instance, when I select the full screen, it puts 2 pages on the screen for ease of reading. To return to the main screen, I can either hit the Escape key or go up to the upper right-hand corner and select Close. This brings me back to the main screen that once again allows me to get to the layouts. The next layout is the web layout. You'll notice that it immediately sets it up for how it would look on a web page. There are different nuances between the different views, so you should acclimate yourself to each of these tools. You'll also notice an outline button. Now this particular document does not have any outlines in it. However, I'm going to select it so that you see what happens on the screen. Notice how there's only dashed lines? This could be a troubleshooting tip. If you are not seeing your document correctly on the screen, always remember to go back down next to the zoom control and return to the print layout. Another method of navigation has to do with viewing a document map. If I go up to the View section and go down into the ribbon to the Show Hide area, you will notice it allows a document map and a thumbnail. Let's start with the thumbnail. The thumbnail allows me to go ahead and see each individual page of the document. It's very useful to be able to get the idea of the layout of the page from the graphics. Instead of having to use page down, I can simply click on one of the thumbnails and it takes me to that area. If I go to the document map, here you will notice it gives me each of my headings. Now if the heading cannot appear on the screen, I get a flag that tells me the entire heading. In this particular case, I can actually tab to each area and each heading by using the document map. The document map goes by anything that was set up as a heading. The thumbnail is going to go by each individual page. These are extraordinarily useful concepts when it comes to a very long document. If I do not want to see it, I'll simply close. Now notice on the View menu also that the document views are here. Earlier we discussed the layout buttons next to the zoom control. These same layout buttons appear under your document views. You'll notice also that you can zoom right on the View menu. The zooming will do the same component as we did on the zoom control. You'll notice I had to go to a dialog box in order to work with it. Another way that I can move around this document is by using the Browse button. On the lower right hand corner of the screen there's a circle. That circle allows me to select how I will actually browse my document when choosing the previous and the next button that is on the actual scroll bar itself. Traditionally, the double area defaults to a page. However, if I go to the navigation button, I can choose to browse by heading. Now you'll notice my cursor is at the heading called Insert a Tab. When I move up to the previous section, it actually goes by heading. If I move down, again, it goes by heading. If I go back to the navigation button, I can now choose Page. When I'm on Page, I can go to the previous page or down to the next page. By using this Browse button, I can choose a number of different navigational methods. Make sure you're aware of this button and make sure you understand how quickly you can change to them. This is the type of question that appears on the Microsoft examination, is how can I quickly browse by graphic? Be aware that the navigation button or the Browse button on your scroll bar will allow you to do so. You will also see that the Find button is on that Browse object or navigation button. In this case, I've typed in the word tab. I'm simply going to find next, and it takes me to the word tab on the screen. Now keep in mind, if TAB is included in a word, unless I have put a space after that word, I will find each occurrence of those 3 letters as they appear in my document. Working with your navigation is important. Understanding the zoom control, understanding the features on the scroll bar, understanding what is on the view menu. All of these are important. Take some time, move around your documents, and get comfortable with working with Microsoft Word.